how he adjusts. He was really in the middle of the strike zone with his fastball almost all day long. Didn't throw very many breaking pitches. Will he have to do something different? We'll see.
Well, almost an hour and a half late getting start today due to the rain that came through right near game time. Dodgers will send out this lineup. Manager Don Mattingly wrote the lineup card this way. Skip Schumacher back out there in left field. The switch hitter Nick Punto will play second base. Adrian Gonzalez and Yasiel Puig. And Andre Ethier in the last 5 games been hitting .400 with a double and a homer. He's driven in 3. Juan Uribe back at third base. Tim Fedorovich behind the plate. Luis Cruz, former Pirate, playing shortstop. And the pitcher Zach Greinke bats 9th against the young right-hander Garrett Cole.
Chevrolet will show us what he did in that first start. Again, ERA 2.84 at 6 1/3 innings he went. Only struck out 2, and I think that is really a reflection of the way he pitched, the way he went about things as far as throwing the ball toward contact in the middle of the zone. If he's going to get more strikeouts, he's going to have to mix things up a little more, throw a few more breaking balls, and not pound the middle of the plate as much as he did.
He was right around the plate a lot through strike after strike after strike against the Giants, and we'll see what he can do here today. Well, Pirates fans and Dodgers fans getting along. It's too much blue, I think. And Mark McGwire back in the dugout. He served his 2-game suspension for his role on the bench clear between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Manager Don Mattingly served 1 game, and he served it in the first game of this series. And first batter, Skip Schumacher, also suspended, but appealing that suspension. The manager and the coach were unable to appeal, so they are done serving theirs. And Schumacher set to lead off against Garrett Cole. Finally underway here this afternoon on Father's Day. And a strike delivered. So Cole picks up where he left off. Pumps in a strike to Schumacher. Right by him at 96.
Maybe he's not going to make an adjustment. He's just going to keep doing it. Strike after strike. A lot of fastballs.
The 0-2. This one fouled off.
Came right at him again, even on the 0-2 pitch. No, nothing fancy.
Top 5 fastest fastballs. The major league average is 91.1, and Garrett Cole 96.2. And Justin Wilson helped out by a 100-mile-an-hour pitch yesterday. He's at 94.6.
Yeah, the thing that you notice right away, not a lot of starters on that list, and that's not uncommon.
Alvarez. Throw beats the head-first dive of Schumacher, and there is 1 down on the Dodger first.
Here we see the replay. Nice job by Alvarez cutting across and able to make it a much shorter throw. If that ball gets by Alvarez, it's going to be a base hit.
1 gone. Pedro makes a nice play. Cole ready to pitch to Nick Punto. And he drives it right at Jordy Mercer. 2 out quickly. Defensively behind the pitcher Cole this afternoon. Alex Presley is in left field. Andrew McCutchen in center, and Travis Snyder is the right fielder. Alvarez at third base. Mercer gets another start at shortstop. Walker at second. Jones back out there at first. And Michael McHenry, a late replacement for Russell Martin. Martin scratched today due to lower body soreness. So he is out and the fort is in. Catching Garrett Cole for the first time. 2 outs, and Adrian Gonzalez is the batter. Ball delivered to him.
I mentioned that that list had mainly relievers on it. That's where most of the big fastballs are. They come out of the bullpens. It's tough to be among the elite velocity wise and throw 100 pitches a game.
To the left field corner. Presley at the track makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3, top of the first inning for Garrett Cole. Pirates coming to the plate against Zach Greinke in the bottom of the first. Presley, Jordy Mercer, Andrew McCutchen set to lead off. We check the Pirate lineup brought to you by Toyota. See Mercer in the second spot. Last 5 games hitting .381 with 3 doubles. He has scored 5 times. See the dads' names right after the players' names. Garrett Jones, Neil Walker, Pedro Alvarez. Travis Snyder hits 7th. Michael McHenry hits in the 8th spot. Garrett Cole bats 9th. Zach Greinke on the hill for the Dodgers. Greinke 3-1 this season.
Numbers all pretty good, as you expect from Greinke. He's been an elite pitcher for quite some time now.
So Greinke getting set to face Presley. Presley in yesterday's game had a double down the third baseline in his first at bat. Takes outside for ball 1.
Greinke might have to change his off-season conditioning. Mix in some mixed martial arts stuff.
I know you're being facetious.
He's been in the middle of things, hasn't he?
He has.
Might not be that bad idea. Good way to get in shape too. But been out for about a month with it, maybe even longer than that, with a broken collarbone.
Yeah, he fractured his left clavicle. And Carlos Quentin had charged him out for Padres when he was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. Quentin didn't like it, turned, and
there they go.
Took off and started bumping. Looked like a running back taking a hit from a defensive end there.
He did. I give him some props for not turning around and hightailing it. But
Presley starts off with a base hit.
You might not want to go shoulder to shoulder with the guy.
Well, he underwent surgery on April 13th to fix that too. He's got a metal plate in there.
Alex fires one back through the middle, set the table.
Bucks with a base runner to start their half of the first inning.
The reason I brought that up, of course, was that Greinke also at the center of things in the big Arizona brawl. So he's had some issues with the other team quite a bit now.
Jordy takes ball 1. Mercer hitting .279, 3 homers, 6 runs batted in. Jordy's been seeing a little bit more time lately. An interesting thing too, if you're looking at matchups, Clint Barmas 7 for 13 in his career against Greinke, a .538 average. Mercer gets the start today. There goes Presley, and the ball hit to right field. Presley will turn second, head for third. Nice piece of hitting by Jordy Mercer. The Bucks setting up shop. Runners at the corners and nobody out.
It's a good hit and run. Kemp want to know if that's what it was, a hit and run. You're pretty confident somebody like Greinke, he's going to throw the ball around the plate where you'll be able to get the bat to it. And Mercer goes the other way with some authority. He shot it through that right side. Yep, there was a hit and run. You could see Alex after about 3 steps, he looked over his shoulder to see what was happening at the plate, which is what you do on a hit and run. You got to know where that ball's being hit, and it's not a straight steal, so you're not worried about keeping your head down and just hustling the second. Well, that's always the tail. If you're looking for trying to figure out, is it a hit and run or a straight steal, you watch that runner, see if he peaks. You see him peak, most of the time that'll tell you hit and run.
0-1 to McCutchen from Greinke. A little tapper toward third base foul. No balls, 2 strikes to Andrew. A couple of base hits to start things off here for the Pirates against Greinke. First and third, nobody out. McCutchen at the plate. Don Mattingly. He's had some success since taking over for Joe Torre as manager. Against the Pirates, he is 7-3. No balls and 2 strikes. Nice pickup there by Fedorovich. Presley standing at third, Mercer at first. 1-2 to Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen walked twice yesterday and had one base hit in the ball game. Now hit safely in 7 straight. Still doing very well here at home. A .348 average at PNC Park. Hitting .298 overall. 1-2 to Kutch. This one's ripped down to third base. Presley's coming home, and he is out. Fedorovich just got him on the tag. Presley a slight hesitation, and Luis Cruz at third base threw him out.
Well, once Presley hesitated, I mean, that's fine, but now you're getting a rundown. You're getting a rundown. You let Mercer go to third. You let Kutch get into second base, and you have second and third and one out. Right now, you know you're hung up. You're getting that rundown and let the other guys move up 90 feet. Now, in Presley's defense, I know what he thought, that with Cruz not throwing the ball right away, that maybe he could sneak by him. But the way the play is set up when you're going in that situation, you're going to try and get in a rundown if you know you're going to be out. And with Presley stopping halfway home, he knew he was going to be out.
So now McCutchen at first and Mercer at second with one out. First out for the Pirates made on the base pass. And Garrett Jones, an 0-1 count to him. One ball and one strike.
If Alex gets in a run down there, it actually turns it into a positive play, because now you have somebody at third base and just one out.
You can't throw the ball everywhere, so those other two guys are going to be safe.
What happens a lot of times is that, you know, once the other runner gets to third, then they run you back. Now you got two guys at third, and you got to make sure that if you're the lead guy, the bag's yours. Don't step off. We've seen that years ago.
Yeah, that was a play against the Cardinals where Yadier Molina picked up a double play on the third base bag because the runner stepped off. It was McCutchen and Andy LaRoche who were both at the third base bag at the time, and found out later that Molina had pulled that trick off before. It was the second time in his career that had happened. 2 on, 1 out. Here's the 2-2 from Greinke. Nope, he'll throw or fake the throw to second base.
Kind of in that situation, it's more of the, well, it's the runners messing up more than kind of Molina basically had to be standing there when the runners messed up twice in his career.
Pitch outside. So it's a full count, 3-2. Jones awaits the payoff pitch. Neil Walker on deck. (3-2) from Greinke. Again, he will turn and face Mercer.
A lot of times they'll start runners 3-2, and that's what Greinke's thinking, that, okay, I left my knee up to go home. If they're running, maybe they'll try and take off before they should, and I'll be able to get Mercer in a rundown. They're not running.
Jones to the right center field gap. It splits the outfielders and goes to the wall. Mercer scores. Flying around third is McCutchen. He'll score standing up. A 2-run double for Garrett Jones, and the Bucks strike first.
table was set, and Jones had cleared things up. Looked like either a cut fastball or a little slider. Had some movement on it, in the high 80s. Being a left-handed hitter, as long as that's not inside off the plate, you're just dropping the head of the bat right to the baseball, and when you're as strong as Garrett, it's going to jump.
Double number 15 for Garrett Jones. And now Greinke will face the switch hitter Walker, batting left-handed. Goes up to 259. 2 hits in 5 trips in yesterday's game. Had an RBI. One of his hits was an extra base hit, had a double. He's got a man in scoring position with 1 out. 1 ball and 1 strike to Walker. Overcast day here at PNC Park. Some sunshine at times today. The rain delayed us about an hour and a half. One one. That's inside. Two balls and a strike. And Walker fouls her off.
See what happens here with Walker. There's another little twist to that play at the plate with Presley from the Dodgers' point of view. Get a moment here, I'll tell you what it is. You know, early in a ball game, in that situation, you see Dodger infield was playing back because they were willing to trade that run for an out. Now Cruz had that in front of him. It was a 1-hop shot right to him. He could have got the 2 outs instead of going home. Now looking back on it, with hindsight being 20/20, if he gets the 2 outs, it's 1-0, and the innings, might even be over right now. But instead, he wanted to stop that run at the plate, which he ended up doing. But then Jones made him pay by getting the big double.
That's a good point.
That goes into that strategy early in a ball game with a starting pitcher about trying to be too fine, trying to save 1 run and ended up giving up a crooked number. Well, that's just the same type deal. And with the infielders, and one of the things you can always go on, if you're an infielder, like, should I go home or should I not? Well, the manager tells you by saying where to play. If he tells everyone to play back and go for 2, well, then go ahead and take the double play. But now, obviously, if Cruz, he went home, he got that out, and the Pirates didn't move up, which was a good thing for the Dodgers. The Pirates not running the bases really properly. If Greinke gets a ground ball, gets a double play, then Cruz looks like a hero for stopping that run at the plate. So it's, there's no crystal ball knowing which way to go. But most of the time, early in a ball game, most managers would prefer you to go ahead and get the 2 outs and give up that first run.
And while it didn't look good at the time that Presley was thrown out, it's actually strangely worked out better.
Well, that's why the runner is going from third, because you don't allow him to turn a double play without paying a price. You make the other team make a choice. You're either going to get 2 outs or you're going to stop me from scoring. One of the two. You make your choice.
And Walker with a good battle with Zach Greinke. Fans of the Pittsburgh kid. Watching Neil closely today. 3-2 pitch coming with 1 out, bottom of the first. Pirates have 2 runs in. Jones the runner at second. Greinke steps off and Walker steps out. The battle will continue. This will be the 9th pitch of the at bat. In the air to left. Alex Castellanos is under it. He will make the catch, and there are 2 down. The Dodgers made an extremely late lineup change, and folks up in the press box weren't notified until just a little while ago. But The defense now looks like this. Castellanos is in left field. Andre Ethier in center. Puig in right. Luis Cruz is at third. Punto at short. Schumacher moves in from the outfield to play second base. Fedorovich doing the catching. Juan Uribe initially scheduled to start, and he was replaced by Alex Castellanos in the batting order, batting behind Andre Ethier. Castellanos will hit third in the top of the second. Pedro Alvarez batting with 2 outs. Ball 1. A long first inning for Greinke so far, 26 pitches. Pedro's batting average slowly but surely climbing. His run production still there. Strike call, 1-1. Pedro, another player who's lucky to have his dad be able to watch him play a lot. Pedro Sr. is here a lot. He's here now. And sometimes he'll show up at some of the road games. Ball and 2 strikes. It's just got to be a super thrill for a dad to be able to follow his son playing Major League Baseball. Ball and 2 strikes to Alvarez. Jones, a 2-run double. He's at second. Can will stay a ball and 2 strikes. The next pitch for Greinke will be 30. Pirates have him working hard. They've elevated his pitch count so far just in the bottom of the first. Ready for the 1-2. Count is even.
I don't want to jinx Pedro here, but Greinke's not getting a lot of chases out of the strike zone. He's able to get strikes, but struggling to get that pitch to put somebody away. Same thing happened with Walker. Couldn't do it. Turned into a long battle.
And Pedro went for the off-speed pitch and missed it. He strikes out, but the Pirates get 2 on 3 hits. 2-0 Pirates after 1.
Is a lead 2-0 here on Root Sports. I'm Robbie Mikowski. Well, Jordy Mercer here up with the Pirates this season obviously made his way to the big leagues from the little leagues. but that is not lost on his father, Rick Mercer, and earlier he discussed the influence Rick Mercer had on his career.
Basically everything. So many times that we went to the field, he would play catch with me in the yard. He always used to catch me with the old catcher's glove, and I kept throwing and it finally broke, and he still continued to use it even though it was broke. He would throw BP to me without an L screen, and I'd hit him in the chest. I mean, he was everything. He really was. I wouldn't be here without him, that's for sure, if he didn't show me the way and then help me along the way, so it's pretty special.
And the funny part to that story is he kind of retold it a couple minutes after the fact off the camera, and he said, dude, I hit my dad. He goes, I thought I killed my father with that. He said, Dad, are you okay? Are you okay? He fell right backwards right away. Thought, oh, my goodness, he's never going to throw BP to me again. But obviously, Rick Mercer was fine, and Jordy, very thankful to him.
Yeah, it's a good story. It really is.
You could hear the emotion in his voice as he was going along talking about it. Only.
It's Jordy Mercer's first Father's Day, by the way. Get a chance to wish him a happy Father's Day in the clubhouse today. And the lockers not too far from Charlie Morton, who's also celebrating his first Father's Day. Jordy's son, Maverick, was born after Father's Day last season. And Charles V, still waiting for the coronation for Charlie Morton's son, who will be known as Cam, by the way.
Alfred.
Puig grounds it toward the middle, and Mercer able to knock it down, but Puig's going to have a base hit. Yasiel Puig, the Cuban defector, playing right field, and he has been phenomenal in his start for the Dodgers at the big league level.
Didn't really get a whole lot of that one. Didn't sound like the bat survived, but hit it in the right spot. Puig has an excellent speed. He's going to beat out a lot of balls too if the infielder has to move much.
Andre Ethier stepping in. Ethier had 3 hits in the game yesterday. Go to first and Puig back. Puig's reached base with a hit in 11 of 13 games so far. Debuted in the big leagues on the 3rd of June. He's second in the National League with 20 hits since he started. Got a super arm in the outfield.
You got to believe if this Dodger team ever gets everyone healthy, still time for them to make a nice push.
They've got a little bit of a hill to climb right now, trailing the first place Diamondbacks by 7.5 games. They are in the basement in the West. Next closest team to them is San Diego. San Diego 3 games back of Arizona. That National League West is still open, and including the Dodgers. That thing could be upside down in another month or two. One ball and 1 strike to Ethier. Ethier had his first 3-hit day since getting a 4-hit day on May 11th. Look where Ethier is right now in terms of RBIs. He's got just 18 on the season. Last year at this time, on this day 1 year ago, he led the National League with 55 RBIs. So he was way behind on the type of production that he gave to the Dodgers last year. 2 balls and a strike.
Dodgers as a team, they're kind of behind. They are not scoring runs the way they should. Kershaw, the ace of the staff. Ace of aces.
He had a pretty good performance yesterday.
He is quite a pitcher.
2-1. There goes Puig, and McHenry's throw down is not there. Offline, and Puig picks up a stolen base.
It looked like if the throw would have been a little lower, maybe they would have had a shot at him. Puig looking up. He's took a little peek like it was a hit and run.
First career stolen base for Yasiel Puig.
And most, as I was talking earlier, most base stealers, they'll keep their head down and concentrate on that base. Only look back if it's a hit and run, but as you could see there, Puig looked back and it was a steal.
Walker throws out Ethier.
A couple of good change-ups that time. Had a swing and a miss on a change-up, and now a 3-1 change-up for a ground out. That's pitching beyond your years. Here it comes, 3-1 pitch. Oh, he painted with it too. Nice job.
Andy Rodriguez. Russell Martin out today. A few of the guys shaved their beards. Martin shaved his. Gabby Sanchez shaved his. All cleaning it up for Father's Day.
Infield is back. Let the Dodgers go ahead and get a run. They don't want to give up a cheap base hit. So they're going to play back and make sure they get an out on a ground ball.
Federovich takes a strike. Federovich was on the opening day roster for the Dodgers, but up and down. He's had 21 games in AAA this year. Backing up A.J. Ellis. Federovich had a game-winning bases-clearing double Tuesday against Arizona. Parrot's mom or dad is here, actually.
Nice tie, huh?
Yeah.
Must be a cool day.
I wonder if that tie was a gift from the parent.
Father's Day gift?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got like a bad knee or something. He's got a cane.
Got a cane.
Work. A little bit of a limp going. Eyes aren't what they used to be. Got the reading glasses.
I know the Parrot's mom shows up every Mother's Day, but I haven't seen the Parrot's dad before. So the Parrot happy to have the family together on this day, this Sunday. 3-2 pitch coming from Garrett Cole. Cracked the bat. It's going to get a run in as Mercer charges and throws and gets it. Now it's a 2-1 ball game as Puig scores.
That's the scenario that I was talking about, where you're going to trade the run there. You want to make sure you get the out, so you play the infield back. And looks like Cole, I could tell by the look on his face, he was hoping he could get a strikeout, save that run. But you have to sometimes bend, make sure you don't break.
99-mile-an-hour pitch just blew up that bat. But plates a run for the Dodgers. Luis Cruz, third baseman. 135 average. 1-0 pitch.
Really having a tough year. He's got over 100 at bats also, still just 15 hits.
In the air to shallow right. Coming on is Snyder. Dodgers get a run on one hit. Nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Pirates a 2-1 lead.
is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
2 runs on 3 hits so far for the Buccos. 1 run on 1 hit for the Dodgers. They went to the science store, Bob. Got an appropriate one for the day.
And the DH, that's important. Got to have that on there.
Yep. Nice pennant notches on the root logo. Paying attention.
A lot of good thought went into that one.
Travis Snyder takes ball 1 high. Snyder extended the game yesterday. 1-out home run in the 9th off of Kenley Jansen.
There he is.
You know, I think that tie was made out of leftover safety tape.
I like your first thought. I think it's a Father's Day gift.
Yeah. I think he went to a construction site and got that tie.
Frankie got that slider down. Got a swing over the top. It was a similar type pitch that Jones got to, but it was left up just at the bottom of the strike zone. Garrett shot it up the gap for extra bases.
Strike
Big
3.
curveball there, 69 miles an hour. Really took a lot off it.
Well, Snyder goes down looking, and there's 1 out for the Pirates in the 2nd. The new for 2013, it's the Pittsburgh Fantasy Camp Weekend at PNC Park, September 5th through the 7th. Adult Pirates fans will spend the weekend playing games on the field and under the lights at PNC Park while being instructed and coached by Pirates alumni. All participants receive authentic uniforms and practice jerseys. For more information, call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS. That's a Father's Day gift right there. Get your dad a trip to the local fantasy camp. Of course, you have the fantasy camp down in Bradenton every winter in January, but if you can't make that one, you can make the fantasy camp weekend here at PNC Park.
Under the lights, too. It's kind of nice.
McHenry to right center, and that drops in front of Andre Ethier for a base hit. Well, the Pirates with a man aboard and 1 out. Let's check in with Robbie.
Well, guys, earlier today, the Pirates hosted a baseball clinic. A lot of the coaches, Nick Leyva, Ray Searage, Jeff Branson. There's Nick Leyva giving instruction. About 150 kids here on the field at PNC Park. They got washed out a little bit early by the rain and had to take it in. So that's Jeff Branson giving some instruction in the cage after they got taken in by the rain, and a nice way to spend the early part of Father's Day. And I asked Ray Searage about the experience. He said, the biggest challenge I face in that camp today is going to be bigger than any challenge I face with Garrett Cole all afternoon today. Try keeping a kid's attention that young for more than 5 minutes. Good luck.
Well, Ray might find a way. Nick always good with the young ones. Garrett Cole trying to sacrifice a man over. Puts the bunt down, foul.
That first pitch that he saw, the curveball, had me flinching backwards. And normally when the guys are squaring around the bunt, that first pitch is 95% of the time a fastball. I saw it leave Greinke's hand, and it looked like it was going up and in, and I was, oh no. And I think Cole did the same thing. He backed up, and then it broke right down the middle. Fooled him into the hook.
Trying to get this one in fair territory.
Now with Greinke starting him off with a curveball, he's already thinking, I'm going to try and strike him out, especially now that it's 0-2.
It goes to the backstop. And without a sacrifice bunt, Cole gets the job done. Wild pitch.
Sometimes they'll do it for you.
Now Cole probably happy he can swing away here.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a fastball up, it looked like. Kind of up and away. They were going to try and get Cole maybe to jab at a fastball after seeing those first 2 breaking balls.
And down to third, McHenry is out.
That's a good try by McHenry. There's one out. So you want to try and take some kind of a gamble if it's presented to you to where you can make it to third base. But he started too late. If you don't go immediately, then you have to tell yourself, okay, I missed my opportunity. He did not go until he saw the ball was rolling away, and then he decided to run. It's too late then. The guy that was the best I've ever seen at that was Jack Wilson. I've said this before, because I think when he was jumping off the base, whether it's first base, second base, or even third, he was looking for that on every pitch. And it seemed like he was on the move before the catcher even tried to block the ball. But that's the way you have to do it if you're going to be successful. If you wait at all, the catcher's got a chance to throw you out if he makes a good throw, and that's what happened.
Let's take a look at the jump.
You saw him go flat-footed there just for a moment. That's when the ball was being blocked. He's upset with himself, but if you're going to get thrown out at third base, you want to do it making the second out. Jay Bell, he's making Phil a little bit better about things, going over and giving him a little tap.
Well, Garrett Cole still at the plate. He's got a full count on him.
I think there's Jay. He knows, it's not just hitting with Jay. Jay is an all-rounder for sure. He knows about the base running stuff.
Punto swings it over to first base. Cole is out. No runs, a hit. That's it. Head to inning number 3. Pirates up by a run.
National anthem. My dad's a saxophone player, and he played. We were in LA. And we're actually playing the Pirates, and he played the national anthem before a game, and it was the first time he had played, in front of a crowd like that. And I think I was actually more nervous that day than I was when I played my first game in the big leagues. I was nervous for him. I didn't want him to mess up. I was scared that he would make a bad note or something, or just forget the song. But he killed it. He played it really well. And then we took a picture, and I hugged him, and I was just really proud of him. So now I kind of understand how parents feel when they're watching the kids on the field. It's got to be a killer.
And that was on September 20th, 2006 at Dodger Stadium. Russell, Nathan, Jensen, Coltrane, Martin Jr. About his father, Russell Sr. Yeah. So, Russell Martin. Let's check in with Robbie. He's got more on Russell's dad.
Well, you heard Russell a second ago talking about his father playing the saxophone, and obviously, Russell's middle name, one of his middle names is Coltrane, after John Coltrane, who was Russell Martin Sr.'s favorite saxophonist, but he played it to help put Russell through his baseball camps when he was younger. He played in the subway system in Montreal. He was an entertainer down there for people riding the trains, and he would earn extra money that way to help put Russell through baseball school when he was a kid. So it's a pretty cool thing, and another example of what we see these fathers go through to help their kids at such an early age play the game of baseball.
Yeah, make a lot of sacrifices, do a lot of extra stuff. That's great. Good story. Well, we're starting at the top of the third inning here on the North Shore. That's a great picture.
No.
He's happy that his Pirates are winning. And Castellanos skies this pitch to right field. Snyder makes the catch, one down. Quick out. We'll bring up Zach Greinke, the pitcher.
Just quick outs, doesn't he? Yeah. Wastes a lot of time.
26 pitches so far, 17 strikes, 9 balls. Greinke had over 26 pitches in the first inning alone.
Very efficient, like a Chevy Volt.
Is that right? So Cole's throwing gas.
Doesn't need much, that's for sure.
6 for 17. Pretty good hitting pitcher so far this year. 353 average, that is.
He's a good athlete.
Take a strike. 94. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cole with a good chance here to get off to a good inning with the pitcher batting second with 1 out.
Although we did see he probably wouldn't make a good linebacker. We did see that.
Yeah.
But he could do a lot of things.
He absorbed the hit well from Carlos Quentin, but he didn't. There wasn't enough resistance. He ended up going backwards. Hurt his shoulder badly. Had to have surgery.
I guess that's what those shoulder pads are for.
Yeah, but you can still get hurt under those. 1-2 pitch. It's fouled off. Well, Mark McGwire back.
He didn't need shoulder pads.
Big Mac.
Rode down in the elevator with him yesterday and after the game. He's still pretty darn big.
He was when he wasn't the hitting coach for the Cardinals before he got back into Major League Baseball. He was with the Cardinals before he came over to the Dodgers. He was a private hitting coach, and Pirates had a shortstop a couple of years ago, Bobby Crosby, who was taught by McGwire. And Greinke strikes out.
Oakland A connection out of him.
Yeah, Bobby was with the A's, but down in Southern California is where they had the lessons. And what Bobby told me is McGwire's saying, a thing that he preaches over and over again, a lot of hitting coaches do, is short to it, long through it. And that's pretty good advice coming from a guy who hit as many home runs as McGwire did, who was as successful as a hitter as McGwire was. Schumacher fouls this one off for strike 1. So Schumacher with an 0-1 count. And the pitch. That's inside. The pitch that Garrett Cole struck out Greinke with was his 32nd of the ball game. It took Greinke 31 pitches just to get out of the first inning alone. Pitch outside. There's John Smoltz on the left and Cal Ripken Jr. on the right. Ripken, not a bad hitter. Smoltz,
not bad himself.
Very good pitcher.
We're talking about good athletes. Smoltz was certainly an all-rounder in a pitching way too. A dominant starter and a dominant relief pitcher. Name guys that you could say that about and put them all in one hand. Not too many.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Schumacher. Cole's delivery inside, ball 3. Ripken, a very good athlete, very good basketball player at famed DeMatha High School in Baltimore growing up. 3-2. Bouncer to Walker. Walker plays the hop and throws out Schumacher. And for the second time in 3 innings, Garrett Cole retires the Dodgers in order. Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr lead a furious comeback as the Pens defeat the Blackhawks in Game 1 of the 1992 Stanley Cup Finals. Here are exclusive interviews from Ron Francis, Larry Murphy, Scotty Bowman, Troy Loney, Sean McEachern, and Yuri Hrdina while you relive this memorable game. Sunday Night Classics. Pens come back at the Igloo. Tonight at 8 on Root Sports. There's the Pirate Parrot and Mr. Parrot. Looks like the Parrot. Oh, yeah. Grandpas get recognition on Father's Day, too.
My birthday today.
And it's his birthday.
Happy Father's Day, guys. Get over here.
Good day to be a grandpa.
I want a baseball, and I'm mad.
Top of the order for the Pirates. Alex Presley, he's 1 for 1. I was reminded before the game by a gentleman, Ralph Kiner, great former Pirate, longtime broadcaster with the Mets. One time early in the broadcast, it said, I'd like to wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day and to all the fathers a happy birthday. He was kind of confused over which it was. I guess you had to be there.
Well, that sounds kind of more like a yogiism almost.
Ralph, one of the greats.
Awesome home run hitter.
This one is in a loop in front of Ethier and fall in for a hit. Ball has had a ton of backspin on it, and Ethier read it off the bat as though it might come out to him. He broke back originally, then had to sprint in and unable to make it. And Presley now 2 for 2.
Presley definitely didn't hit that ball very well, and Ethier upsetted himself. He, as you said, he took a step and a half back, and that's why it dropped in. Not the everyday center fielder.
Matt Kemp still on the disabled list. So Ethier moving from right field to center field in place of Kemp for the time being. Mercer tried to push bunt, pushed it foul. Jordy's 1 for 1 with a run scored. .287. Jordy with a big opportunity. Jordy's going to be around here for a while, looks like. But John McDonald, who had been backing up Clint Barmas, has been traded to Cleveland.
I kind of think that was the whole reason you got John McDonald was question marks about Jordy, and was he going to be ready to fulfill the shoes, do the job at the big league level. And once he proved that, yeah, he's going to be just fine up here, well, then that made John McDonald kind of almost like an unnecessary member of the roster, that the Pirates really didn't need the veteran anymore, so he moved on. But, he was kind of like a little insurance policy, and the insurance wasn't needed.
But for any player in Mercer's situation, all you do is go play and make the decisions difficult for management. You go and players make the lineup. I know we've talked about that in the past. They make the lineup by the way they play. Cruz picks it up, throws on to first, so Mercer does indeed move Presley over to second base. Celebration of the Pittsburgh Pirates autograph and memorabilia show presented by Hunt Auctions will take place Saturday, June 29th at the Pittsburgh Marriott City Center Ballroom, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Appearances by Andrew McCutchen, Bill Mazeroski, Garrett Jones, Jason Grilli, John Candelaria, Bob Robertson, and Steve Blass. For signing schedule, pricing, and to order autograph tickets, go to huntauctions.com/store. Strike call to McCutchen. I know Steve's looking forward to going. Talking to me about it the other day. Should be a great show.
McCutchen getting up there close to that 300 mark. Be nice he could break through there and then run a little while. Get hot in the summer, similar to what he did last year.
His average on the 29th of April was 217. That's the lowest we'd seen him hit as a Pirate. But since then, he's hitting 344 in the 41 games since that day. 55 for 161.
As the weather's been warming up, and he's just getting better and better every month at a time. The batting average climbing. You see in May, hitting the 320s, hitting in the 340s, almost 350 this month.
And starting to reach some milestones. He got his 700th career hit Thursday against the Giants. Last Sunday, he scored his 400th career run against the Cubs. We remember when he started it all. Early June 2009. That's when he made his major league debut.
June in the modern game of baseball is the month for that now.
Yeah.
That's where all the prospects come up.
Down to Cruz. He looks Presley back. Gets McCutchen. 2 down. Garrett Jones coming to the plate. Garrett's had the big swing in the ball game so far. We have Mercer and McCutchen aboard in the first inning.
Cut a little cutter slider and just dropped the head of the bat to it, drove it up that gap. And a nice early lead for Cole, which even though Cole has pitched so well in his first 2 starts now, he's off to a good start in this one. You still want to try and make it easy for him. You still want to try and get him a lead, take the pressure off. Scoring a couple runs in the first inning, it was important today. The big hit.
Jones has another duck on the pond, and now it's Presley. Greinke's pitch inside for a ball. Jones waits for the pitch. That's low. Fedorovich bluffs a throw back to second base.
I was just about to say, it looked like Presley is really getting aggressive out there with secondary lead. And Punto kind of sneaking in behind him a little bit. Be a little careful. Yeah, it's a balancing act. I mean, there's 2 outs. You want to try and make sure you get a decent lead to where you're going to score on a base hit, but at the same time, with a left-hand hitter up there, shortstop plays right behind you, and he can sneak in so easy.
2-1 now to Jones. Well, Pirates have an opportunity to gain some ground in the division today, even though Cincinnati has won. They beat Milwaukee 5-1, but the Cardinals have lost. Miami a winner today, 7-2. The Bucks, who began the day 4 out, 3.5 out, and can get to 3 out if they can hang on and win here today against the Dodgers. And being 3 out in a big series head-to-head with the Cincinnati Reds looming starting tomorrow night in the Queen City. 4-game series there. After Cincinnati, the Pirates go back to interleague play. They'll play the Angels on the weekend in Anaheim. And then up to the Pacific Northwest for a quick 2-gamer. A night game and a day game, and then back home. Ball 4. Jones is aboard. A 2-out walk issued by Zach Greinke.
A little careful with Garrett. Thinking back to those 2 runs he gave up in the first. Walker wasn't really easy for him. Remember the battle they had. They end up seeing about 10 pitches.
Yeah, he fought him off. Fouled a number of pitches off. Pirates a 2-1 lead, bottom of the 3rd inning. Hour and a half late starting today due to rain. Got him. So the bases are now full of Bucks as Walker's hit by the pitch. He's loaded him up for Pedro Alvarez. Here's today's Barrel Automotive League leaders stat. League leaders in home runs off right-handed pitchers. Pedro Alvarez 3rd on the list with 12. Like to see him get number 13 right here. Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Pitch is low. With the bases loaded, Pedro Alvarez hitting .346 in his career. 2 grand slams. One against the Brewers, one against the Cardinals.
And it's a day game. A lot of things going in his favor right now.
Bases full, 2 out. 1-0 pitch, tapped down to first, and Gonzalez will grab it, step on the bag, and the Pirates miss out on a good opportunity in the 3rd inning. We'll go to the 4th. Still a 2-1 ball game in favor of the Bucks.
Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
2-1 Pirates, top of the fourth at PNC Park. Another packed house here. Looks like the Pirates have sold out the entire weekend. A lot of kids here on the Kids Day Sunday. The replica caps that the Pirates are wearing today. Given out to all kids and dads today.
Turned out to be kind of a nice afternoon. Maybe a little muggy with all the moisture in the air. Pleasant enough. A little cloudy.
The scheduled start was 1:35. First pitch took place at 3 minutes after 3. Look at that, Bill Mazeroski. Better not spill on that autograph. So Garrett Cole facing Nick Punto. Ball one to Punto. Switch hitter, utility infielder. Like second, he can play short, he can play third. Playing shortstop here today. Two 2-0 to Punto.
We've seen 2-0 Cole very often, have we?
No.
He rectified it immediately.
Love the way he's around the strike zone all the time. Seen a lot of good things out of this guy. Now it's 2-2. Comes back and evens up the count. Punto's been struggling a little bit since the end of May. Since the 26th of May, over his last 17 games, he's hitting just 143. Punto 0 for 1 here today. Cole's 2-2 pitch coming. And that's to center field on a base hit. He's 1 for 2, a leadoff single. Just the second hit given up by Garrett Cole. Cole with 1 strikeout. It was the pitcher Greinke. He had 2 strikeouts in his debut. And do you think, Bob, at some point we'll start to see his strikeout totals go up once he learns to use that slider a little better?
Yeah, it's the way he's pitching right now. It's not his stuff. You know, he starts trying to get out of the middle of the plate, go to the edges a little bit, get some chases, throw the breaking ball a little more. Then he'll get some strikeouts because he does throw so hard. But you know, these first 2 games, he's just been challenging guys in the heart of the plate with his fastball, and so far it's worked. But you're not going to get a lot of strikeouts. What you're going to get are a lot of quick outs. That's what's happened. Balls are going to get put in play, and most of the time they're going to be outs.
Adrian Gonzalez fly to Presley in the left field corner in the first.
If you start striking a lot of people out, then you have to work a little harder every inning.
Goes to left field again, and over to the corner is Presley. Almost a carbon copy of his first out. That one a little bit closer to the wall, and Punto has to retreat to first.
This would be one of those challenge type innings with Punto getting on to lead things off. Middle of the lineup coming up. He thought maybe that he had thrown a long one, but nope. Got out there and didn't carry much. Didn't leave the building. Presley was there.
Alex getting an opportunity to play again today. Starling Marte out again, still resting a sore left rib cage. And if he is not able to go sometime during the Cincinnati series, Glenn Hurdle said it is a possibility they would put him on the disabled list. They're trying not to do that right now. But in the meantime, Presley getting the job done. 2 for 2 today and doing a good job with the glove. 1 out and 1 on for Puig. Puig is 1 for 1 with a run scored. Stole his first major league base in the second inning. There's a chopper hit to the left side. Mercer's got it, and Punto's going to be safe. So a base hit for Puig.
And that's one of those balls talked about it early on. I think it was Schumacher hit one like that. If it gets by the third baseman, it's going to be a hit most of the time, and that's what happened there. Pedro unable to range far enough to his left to make the play. Once it gets by his glove, now that's going to be it. It's an infield hit. And Mercer did everything he could, got the ball over to second base quickly, but you just can't do it fast enough.
Puig has hit in 4 straight. He now has 8 multi-hit games. And he's only played 13 major league games.
He certainly looks like a great ball player, doesn't he? Everything he does, he's got that arm, got some speed, the size. I mean, how big and strong does he look out there? He's really well put together. See what he does when he's on deck, how he hits himself with the bat.
Can't be too comfy.
I was looking at him yesterday. He takes the head of the bat and he's like hitting his legs and hitting his rib cage, and it's like he's made of rock or something. But, he's got to be a good player. He just looks the part, right?
He does.
He certainly plays the game in an aggressive manner, almost to where they need to kind of reel him in a little bit.
That's a line drive looper over the head of Mercer into left field. Punto's going to get waved home, and Presley overruns the baseball, and the Dodgers have tied it. Tim Wallach, the third base coach, started waving Punto home quickly. I think he thought that Presley might come up with a leisurely throw, but he didn't come up with a throw at all.
Well, with 1 out, you're not going to score on this. You got to hold up, see if it drops. But yeah, you got to give Wallach a lot of credit. He wasn't giving in to the fact that he wasn't going to be able to score. So soon as he saw right there, now it's when Wallach is yelling, "You got to go! You got to go! You got to go!" Sometimes you go, okay, that's a little just going to fall in. Got to stop him here. Nothing's going to happen. Both the runner and the coach might say, okay, we're satisfied with what we got. But boy, Wallach, a nice job, staying with the play, recognizing that there was a mess up right away and taking advantage of it. And Punto also doing the same thing, running hard all the way to third base. Once he broke out of his freeze position, he didn't just leisurely jog over to third base thinking I'm just going to get to third. He was sprinting and put himself in position for Wallach to make that call. A good play on both their parts.
No error charged to Presley.
What was funny about the whole thing that I was watching was Puig. I had just mentioned about how aggressive he is. He literally walked to second base as that ball was falling in. Totally just. Now, he did the opposite. He took for granted that, okay, I'm going to get to second base.
Ground ball towards short. Mercer flips to Walker for 1. Back to first. That's a double play. Fedorovich hits into the inning-ending double play, but the Dodgers get a run and tie the ball game at 2 runs apiece after 3.5 innings. Bat paid the price here on the twin kill as Garrett Cole blows up another Dodger bat. Of course, they won over Milwaukee today, 5-1. Pirates 3.5 back. Chicago 15 back. Milwaukee 15.5 back. Tie ball game, bottom of the 4th inning. Travis Snyder leads off and fouls the first pitch back from Greinke. No balls and 1 strike.
Dash was showing me some stats earlier today, and didn't realize this. Talking about the Cardinals, how good they are. They're #1 in offense, #1 in pitching, #1 in defense, and I guess that just naturally all adds up to being the best team in the league. They are best in everything: catching the ball, pitching, and hitting.
And a base hit for Snyder.
They need to figure out a way for the Cardinals to slow down. Snyder takes a nice big turn.
Leadoff single.
I agree with Rob. Who does it? It's the fish.
Amazing, isn't it? Marlins with just 20 wins. They have the worst record in baseball. And yet they were the ones who won the series over the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
Marlins came in. They're now 21-47 after winning today, but 20-47 to start the day. McHenry takes a strike. Michael's 1 for 1. Had a base hit in the 2nd inning. Went down to 2nd on a wild pitch, and then tried to advance to 3rd on another wild pitch, and Federovich threw him out. This one will make the seats. 0-2 to McHenry. Greinke up to 70 pitches.
Dodgers look like they're starting to take the tarp off their mound in the bullpen.
Oh, 2 pitch. That's ripped right at Cruz. He drops it. And McHenry will be out. Third base umpire Alan Porter said that he dropped it on the exchange. And he had it long enough to make a catch, so McHenry is out.
That was a nice job by Porter, making that call immediately, letting Snyder know something. You know, whether he dropped it on the exchange or not, whichever way it goes, as a base runner, you want the call to be made quickly. There it is. Porter immediately went up with the out, and that lets Snyder know what to do, which direction to run.
And now Cole bunts it in fair territory. Down to 2nd base. Safe is Snyder, and Cole is out at 1st. Almost beat the throw. But a bad throw by Federovich. It sailed to the right of 2nd base. That allowed Snyder to slide in safely.
Federovich did a nice job getting to that ball nice and quick. He had the out at 2nd. He just made a poor throw. 2 parts to the play. You got to field the ball and throw it. Real good job coming out quickly. The bare hand, there's the out, and he just can't do it. Made a bad throw.
He didn't run all the way out of the box.
And that's why I think he held his helmet.
Yeah.
He realized if he would have ran out of the box, he might have been able to beat that out.
Two outs, man in scoring position.
So he put his hands up to his helmet. You could see he was upset. I was wondering when I saw that originally what he was mad about, because he got the job done.
He did,
but he knew that he had a chance also to beat that ball out if he would have been able to do it. Jay Bell again going up, nice job with the bunt.
Well, he got the job done moving the runner over, but made it a little exciting at the end.
Well, Garrett very inexperienced with the bat. And it's not just hitting, it's bunting, all that kind of stuff. So when he does a good job, it needs to be reinforced. You got to go up and say, hey, no matter what happened, as long as his approach was correct, you go up and you congratulate him. Keep that positive reinforcement going.
Well, in college at UCLA, they took the bat out of his hands. Never had a plate appearance there in 3 seasons. So that's one of the differences between collegiate and pro baseball. Pro baseball,
just leave it at ban the DH.
Yeah, but you will, if you play an American League affiliate, you're going to have a DH in the minor leagues. But if it's National League team against National League team, usually it's pitcher hitting. So you still aren't going to get the number of at-bats as a minor leaguer.
They used to not even do that. You could come all the way through and not get an at-bat. So at least they're let them get a few swings.
Two balls, two strikes. Presley bounces it to the right side. Gonzalez throws to Greinke covering. And the side retired. 4 innings in the books at PNC Park. 2-2 Pirates and Dodgers.
And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Top of the fifth. 2-2. 2 runs on 6 hits for Pittsburgh. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Dodgers. Let's take a look at what kind of tweets are coming in here today. Oh, look at that. At ban the DH. I bet there was a run on that name.
I've always said I'm not on Twitter when you guys know I am.
Yeah, okay. Which pitch places more stress on a pitcher's arm, long, short term? Curveball or the fastball?
Well, I definitely think it's the curveball. I really don't know what a doctor would say, to be honest with you, but I think it's the curveball because you're having that rotation as you're trying to make the pitch. So I definitely think that it's curveball.
The curveball.
Yeah, don't throw the curveball.
Well, now that guy at ban the DH is going to get a ton of followers.
And I had
People are going to think it's you.
I had a little theory the other day too about the curveball, and I was thinking about this, and I don't know if it really means anything or not, because Wandy left in that game with the forearm stiffness down around the Tommy John area. But I noticed that both Wandy and AJ, and a number of other guys on our team, by the way, they throw their curveball with their index finger up off the ball.
Cruz to left field. Presley behind it. Alex with the sunglasses on makes the catch.
And as to my knowledge, they've never really had any elbow problems. So what I was thinking is, and if you put your finger on that ligament and you move that finger and move your index finger back and forth, you can feel something going on right there. So I started wondering, would moving that finger off the ball like that, does that take stress off the elbow? It's a possibility.
It's a good thought.
Because we have a couple of guys that haven't had any problems, up to this date, really throwing curveballs like that with that finger up on the elbow. Now, a lot of other guys, they'll throw like me. They threw the ball with the finger down across the baseball. But if you do that and you touch your elbow, like you're taking your pulse almost, and you move that finger up off the ball like that, you can feel it flexing in there. And so I was wondering if moving that finger up takes pressure off that elbow.
Good theory. Castellanos straightens out to Mercer.
I need to ask somebody that knows about the inside of your muscles and stuff to answer that question for me.
AJ does it. Wandy does it. Jeff Locke does it. James McDonald also throws his curveball that way.
Well, the young guys, it doesn't really prove anything, but it's the older veteran guys that I'm curious about, like Wandy and AJ, that have put in so many pitches, so many innings. Has that taken pressure off their elbow? Now, as I was thinking about this, and actually I think I talked about Greg off camera about this a couple of weeks ago, it was just a few days later that Wandy came out of the game with a sore elbow, and I thought, well, there goes my theory. But still, I want to talk to somebody about that, because you can definitely feel it moving when you do that, those ligaments. And maybe there's something to that. Because I know that my arm, my elbow would get real sore right there from throwing curveballs.
But you threw a lot of them. But weren't there times, though, Bob, where especially August, September, where your arm was just real sore and you would go out and pitch through it?
March, April, May, not just August and September.
Alvarez throws out Greinke in a 1-2-3 inning for the third time out of 5 innings for Garrett Cole.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Here's our Day Automotive. This day in Pirates history. This date, 1927. Paul Wainer went 2 for 3 with a triple and 3 RBIs in a 6-0 win over the Braves. It was the 19th consecutive game that the elder Wainer recorded a hit and also ran his RBI streak to 12 straight. His younger brother Lloyd also went 3 for 4 in the game and scored 2 runs. Big poison and little poison got it done that day. Thanks to Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. 2-2, bottom of the 5th inning. Pirates batting against Zach Greinke. Folks having a good time here at the ballpark. Sold out crowd on this Sunday afternoon. Here's Jordy Mercer. He takes a strike. Mercer's 1 for 2. Singled and scored a run in the first inning. That's the inning the Pirates got their runs. A 2-run double by Garrett Jones, scoring Mercer and McCutchen. And then the blemishes against Zach Greinke. Dodgers with single runs in the second and the fourth off of Garrett Cole. Oh, 2. That's in the dirt. 1-2 to Greinke. Greinke 5-1 against the Pirates in 7 starts. That includes time with the Milwaukee Brewers before heading over to Los Angeles. ERA against the Pirates in those 7 starts of .485. Mercer, Tapper over the mound. Schumacher retires Mercer. 1 out. I want to wish a happy Father's Day to my dad Bill in Nashua, New Hampshire, watching today. We got a clean bill of health this week, which is a big relief to the family after some serious physical challenges this year.
You were telling me that he was having some problems about a month ago or so. I'm glad he's doing great, doing fine.
Yep, he's on top of the scoreboard. Bill won, cancer nothing. So he won.
It's always nice to hear.
He had a good Father's Day today. And McCutchen fouls this one off. Ball and a strike to Kutch. You see the blue wristbands and the ribbons the players are wearing on this Father's Day. Of course, that is to keep awareness going for prostate cancer. See them on Mother's Day when they're pink. On Father's Day, they're blue. Here's the 2-1. Count even to Kutch.
I'd like to say happy birthday to my dad.
Is it his birthday, or are you just kidding?
It's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to be like kind. I'll get to see my dad in a couple of days when we head out to Anaheim.
That's right.
Hall of Fame club.
Let's go, Bob.
That's right.
Did he go? And yes, he went with Greg Gibson with a very early ring up on the appeal of McCutchen. And so he strikes out. Kutch now 0 for 3.
Let's watch the bat. How far did it go? That's iffy. You know what I like about the AGH cam on these replays of did he swing or not? It's something I never really thought of much before, but the relationship of the baseball and the bat. And that kind of has to have something to do. Did he go after it or not?
Jones rips it to right field. He's got 2 hits. Zach Greinke giving up his second hit to Jones. Pirates have the go-ahead run aboard with 2 outs. Walker's 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning.
I wonder if Jonesy would try and sneak one here. He's not really a base stealer, but be a little element of surprise.
He's got 1 this year.
Pirates been doing a little delay stealing also. This is the time you want to do it with 2 outs, where the middle infielders are back on the edge of the grass.
2-0 to Neal.
That's basically what a delay steal does. Is you're trying to be able to beat the infielder to the bag so the catcher has no one to throw to. If you run right away, everybody yells, "There he goes," and then you get the middle infielder going to the bag. If you wait till the ball hits the catcher's glove, nobody yells, "There he goes," because nobody's looking at you. So by the time the middle infielders realize, "Oh, I got to cover the base," you're already closer than they are, and the catcher then has nobody to throw to. That's why 2 outs is when you want to do the delay steal, because that's when the middle infielders are the furthest away from the bag.
Russell Martin swiped one in that fashion in yesterday's game.
He did it great. He got both infielders were looking down at the ground. I think it was Hanley Ramirez. It would have been his bag to cover, and he was just looking down when Martin took off. And there was nowhere for Ellis to throw the ball to. That was a textbook example of the way to pull off the delay steal.
And Walker gets a base on balls. 2 on and 2 out. And Pedro up again. Pedro had a chance in the 3rd inning with the bases loaded. Greinke and Fedorovich talking this one over. It's turned into a sunny Sunday afternoon. Pedro Alvarez could make the outlook a lot brighter if he can connect off of Greinke here. Bottom of the 5th, 2-2. Greinke didn't, I guess, put the capper on the meeting, so finishes it off with his catcher. Blue skies and some clouds off in the distance now. Turning into a very, very nice afternoon in Pittsburgh. Ball 1 to Pedro. I think El Toro wants to give El Toro Sr. a Father's Day gift.
Sun's out, hitting one a long way.
Dad is here today in the park watching him. He's been here this week. Greinke missed again.
Fake Pedro.
Two balls, no strikes.
Oh,
gone. Pitch
that was off the plate. Down away, gave him a break.
Let's take a look.
Nope, that ball is not a strike.
Same as the pitch before it, just a little lower.
That made Pedro have to swing at that one. That one looked like it's a little outside. There it is. Watch the strike zone. Yep, that was away.
Mike Estabrook, the home plate umpire. Pedro Alvarez, 2 on, 2 out. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Full count. Good take by Pedro.
Actually, that was a strike.
That was a makeup.
Counts right.
Good looking lid right there.
Great shot, great hat, and a nice flat. One of my favorites at the Keystone.
Well, the runners will be going on this pitch from Greinke. 3-2. Jones from second. Walker big lead at first. There they go. And Pedro hammers this pitch deep to center field. Oh, Toro strikes again. It's in the shrubbery. A 3-run home run for Alvarez. 5-2 Pittsburgh.
Happy Father's Day.
Greinke knew it. 4th home run he's given up. And now this sellout crowd re-energized. Bucks in front by 3 runs.
Got to that full count. Greinke had no choice. He's got to throw a strike, so he just tries to feather in that breaking ball, not throwing a good sharp one, and because of that, it got hammered.
Home run number 15 for Alvarez. RBIs 39, 40, and 41.
There's times, and I'm not sure Greinke did this. I'm not in his head. I don't know it for a fact, but there are times where you're thinking, okay, I want to throw a breaking ball here, but I can't afford to miss the strike zone. So you back off it a little bit. You don't give it that good hard snap, so it's not really the good hard breaker. It's just kind of rolling in there a little bit. You're just trying to make sure it's in the strike zone, and when you do that, it becomes much more hittable. It's a trade-off, but you got to make them sometimes.
Pedro is halfway to his home run total of a year ago. We're not halfway through the season yet. Rips it foul. This is the 69th game of the season. 94 to go after today.
Pedro
regular season.
Up in the 40s now with the RBIs.
41.
Looks like he's got a good shot at getting over the century mark end of the year.
Some action from a right-hander in the Los Angeles bullpen. 3-2 on Snyder.
LA bullpen has not been their strong suit this year.
Matt Guerrier, the former Minnesota Twin. This one's popped up to Puig and right. Well, the big swing of Pedro Alvarez. Jones and Walker aboard, the 3-2 pitch, and El Toro strikes. Dialing long distance and getting that ball in the bushes. 5-2 Buccos after 5.
Bless you guys.
To my dad and all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Love you, Dad. And thanks for everything. Thanks for all your help.
Hey, Dad, happy Father's Day. Hope you're watching, and yeah, hope you have a good day.
Happy Father's Day, everyone. Hope you enjoy the game.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. Thank you so much.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. You guys don't know what you guys do for us. It's a pretty special day for you guys.
Pedro Alvarez made a bunch of dads and sons happy. 3-run home run. Pirates with a 5-2 lead starting the 6th inning. Another guy who's probably kind of happy about it is today's starting pitcher, Garrett Cole.
From one first rounder to the next.
Pedro with a big fly.
Pirates are getting a nice collection now of their first round picks in the mix. You got two of them standing in the infield, one in center and one right in the middle of things, standing on the mound.
Skip Schumacher right at Neil Walker. One out. Well, Tim Williams, the Pirates prospects.
Yeah.
He says, I'd estimate 80% of Pirates fans are currently touching their elbow and moving their finger right now after watching Bob's demonstration earlier.
Trying to feel that ligament.
Yeah, it's
the Tommy John.
You got me doing it now. There. So feeling, I know what you mean.
So I've wondered now for the last couple of months if moving that index finger up does something to protect your elbow a little bit. We've got a couple of veteran pitchers that have thrown a ton of curveballs in their career and still doing it, and they both throw their curve with the finger up in the air. Doug Drabeck threw his curveball with his finger up in the air. I don't think he ever had Tommy John surgery.
0-2 to Punto. Fouls it back. And it stays no balls, 2 strikes to Nick Punto. Yeah, Doug did all right.
Yeah. He threw a lot of curveballs, huh? Definitely was one of his bread and butter pitches.
0-2. Did he get him or not? McHenry thought it was a strike. Had thrown the ball around. And now Punto might have said something to McHenry or possibly the home plate umpire, but it was called a ball. See where this pitch was. A little outside, maybe. It's not like that same pitch hasn't been called a strike before.
No, I mean, it was a little off the plate. You know, sometimes they get called strikes, sometimes balls.
Ready for the 2-2.
I think you probably notice it more when a catcher does that. But, I mean, how many times does a hitter take a ball 4 and take a step? Well, we've seen that dozens of times during the season. You just get caught assuming something.
98-mile-an-hour fastball inside will get your attention.
Oh, jump rope.
3-2 to Punto. He is 1 for 2 today. And that circle is Adrian Gonzalez. Again, you look at this view from left field, way up high.
Absolute gorgeous ballpark.
And in comes Presley. He'll make the catch. Here's today's AGH Sports Medicine injury update. James McDonald scheduled to make another rehab start today at AAA. It'll be his 5th rehab start as he recovers from right shoulder discomfort that sidelined him since the beginning of May. Expected to throw 100 pitches today. That's the goal for him. Injury update brought to you by Allegheny Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pirates. 2 out. Everybody loves a parrot, huh? Maybe not the Fanatic. I think the Philly Fanatic and the Parrot have some.
No, they're buddies.
They're buddies. You think so?
Yeah, they're good buddies. Brought some Girl Scouts in the other day for a little tour. They love the Parrot.
And Gonzalez to the notch, and that is in the seats for a ground rule double. Cadillac double for Gonzalez.
One thing our left field wall is low enough, you'll see that every now and then. There it is again. Gonzalez really been driving the ball that direction pretty good. But Cole's still trying to work him away, and this time he pays the price. Presley can't quite get there. Gonzalez gets to ease into second base.
Yep. It's my new name for a ground rule double. It's a Cadillac double.
I like it. Cadillac double. Yep. It's Cadillac in the second.
Just made it up this morning.
Yep. Coupe de Ville.
Want to note a Puig. 5 out of 11. Having a real good series. Great start to his big league career. .478 average for his first 13 games. Two balls and no strikes. Puig finally defected from Cuba. He established residency in Mexico in order to do so, and he had attempted a few different times to do it and was unsuccessful, and the Cuban national team had suspended him for it, and he became more and more disgruntled and finally found a way out. The Surge with a visit to Garrett Cole.
Dad's getting tired. Now Ray is back in the dugout. There's that good strike to ball ratio. About 2-1. Goal 45.
Come back to the count against Puig. Ball 3. Puig batting in the cleanup spot today. Look at where he was yesterday in the 2 spot. And on Friday, he was in the leadoff spot. So Don Mattingly putting him different spots in the order, seeing what he can do. Swinging 3-0, fouls it back. With a green light.
And that's right there, shows you what the Dodgers think of him. Down by 3 runs, give him the 3-0 green light. You know he's a special talent. All the yellow hats today.
Another base hit for Puig. McCutcheon's going to come up throwing. Gonzalez will hold at third base. Jones cuts it off in the middle of the infield. Puig with his 3rd hit. He's 3 for 3.
Hit this one a little too hard to get a run home. Gonzalez not very fast. That ball smoked out the Kutch. Adrian, he's not going to be able to score unless that ball is hit softer or toward a gap. Got to make an outfielder move laterally. But Puig, he really looks like if you just wanted to build a baseball player, that's what you'd make him look like.
Long pause. I don't know if Cole had any intent on throwing. Probably on a scouting mission to see if Puig was going to run. Now here, an interesting question. Now, Puig continues to do what he's doing. When Matt Kemp comes back, what do you do with him? You're going to put Andre Ethier back in right and maybe Puig over to left?
Well,
if he stays?
Kemp's a bona fide superstar. He's going to play. Kemp's going to play center field too, by the way. So
right, and Ethier will probably move back to right.
Maybe Puig. I don't know. Puig's got the big arm. Maybe Ethier moves to left. I don't know. But Kemp's going back into center field. I mean, he's one of the best players in baseball. They can't wait to have that problem.
The way that Puig is playing for the Dodgers, he doesn't want to go back to the minor leagues.
Look at all the fastballs. 86% just added to that with that pitch. And that's only 88 miles an hour. I take that back. That's a changeup. Not a good changeup. He threw about 80% fastballs in his first start, and he's been relying on that a little more now.
Slaps this one into right field. Dodgers will get a run out of this with 2 outs as Gonzalez scores, and Puig goes first to third. It's now 5-3.
Like Ethier kind of slowed his swing down to make contact with that pitch.
Second RBI of the game for Ethier and his second hit.
There's another changeup. It was in an excellent spot. It's just bad luck. Didn't hit it hard. Just seeing eye ground ball.
And that's going to chase Garrett Cole out of the ball game. Clint Hurdle will make a double switch. Starling Marte is going to see some action. Cole's going to leave with a 2-run lead in the 6th inning. And the Pirates will go to the bullpen to try to hang on to it for him so he get his second major league win. Garrett Cole, he will lead to a standing ovation. Sold out house at PNC Park, showing their appreciation for the Pirates' #1 pick in 2011. Good outing for Garrett Cole. Justin Wilson will replace him. Out. The defensive changes now. Marte, he's had the sore left rib cage, is in there in left field now, and that'll move Alex Presley from left field to right, with Snyder coming out of the ball game. And that is where Justin Wilson will enter, son of Jim Wilson, former
minor league infielder with the Red Sox. Played against him a couple of years. Carolina League and the Eastern League. Got to talk about old times a little bit when we were in LA.
Fedorovich, the catcher, 2 out, 2 on. And Wilson deals a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Wilson yesterday came in and just threw gas at the Dodgers and hit 100 miles an hour for the first time. I asked him about it today. I said, have you ever been in triple digits? He said, no, never. The readings on the guns can vary, and there's thoughts about that too, but still, anytime you see triple digits up there, it's very impressive. And you know he can go 96, 97, 98 with regularity. Wilson goes 2-0 to Federowicz. Ray Searage has had some arms to work with this year. Probably more than he thought he'd have to with the injuries. Now Wilson can't find a strike to the Dodger catcher.
A lot of times you will have to use a lot of starting pitchers during the course of a year. You might have to use a dozen. But what happens is you got a bunch of different guys going in maybe those last two spots or two spots. You have 2 or 3 guys that are pretty much you can rely on. There's only been one guy so far make it through. That's Locke. That's what's kind of tough for the Pirates.
Well, now trouble brewing as Wilson comes in, walks the first man he faces, and now the bases are full of Dodgers. Puig at third, Ethier at second, and now Federowicz at first. The batter will be Luis Cruz. He's 0 for 2.
Cruz really struggling with the bat this year. Don't want to put a jinx on us, but right now with 2 outs, bases loaded, this might be the guy you want up there.
Wilson wanted a new series of signs and got it. Strike 1. A.J. Burnett, Wandy Rodriguez, James McDonald, Jonathan Sanchez, all not active right now. Sanchez out of the organization. Locke, the only one active right now. Jean-Marc Gomez. Liriano is in. Garrett Cole is in. Irwin had 1 start. He's already on the 60-day DL. Charlie Morton's back. And Brandon Compton, who had a start, made his major league debut yesterday. By the way, Compton did such a good job that Clint Hurdle informing us today that he will make another start on Thursday against the Reds.
Hey, you could throw Jeff Karstens on that list too, couldn't you? And he was in the rotation, basically penciled in to start the season, and didn't get out of spring training. It's been tough. Jeff, the shoulder surgery, but that was 10 days ago or so now.
Jeff got his stitches out today. He said.
Good.
He's got a little road to recovery, about 10 weeks or so before he's able to think about throwing.
0-2 count. Gotta make a good pitch now. This is very important. Can't make a mistake here. You got the 2-run lead. Tying run at second base. Way out in front. If you miss your spot, miss out of the strike zone.
Oh, 0-2. He got him looking. Wilson walks one and strikes out one. Kerr's a little upset, but the punch out comes at a great time. The Dodgers got a run, and they leave the bases loaded.
By a pair. I'm Robbie Mikowski with some news coming out of the minor league affiliates for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Stolmy Pimentel has been promoted from AA Altoona to AAA Indianapolis. Nick Kingham in his first start in Altoona, he was just recently promoted from Bradenton. He did a nice job with 5 2/3 innings, did not surrender a run. And Alan Hansen for the Florida State League All-Star Game, a home run and 3 RBIs. I believe named the game's MVP in the game, but on Stolmy Pimentel, you remember he was a piece of the Mark Melancon trade that sent Joel Hanrahan over to the Boston Red Sox. General manager Neil Huntington, you remember he was fantastic earlier in the season. In fact, he didn't allow an earned run for a long time. But for as good as he was in the first month of the season, he regressed to the point where he was as bad in the second month as he was good in the first month. But then he's really made progress after a couple tweaks to his delivery. And Neil Huntington feels it's time for him to see some AAA pitching. And hopefully he'll continue to do well.
New third baseman for the Dodgers is Jerry Hairston Jr. He comes in as part of the double switch. He'll bat 9th. And Matt Guerrier, the new pitcher, takes over in the 7th spot in the order. Luis Cruz is out. And McHenry follows this one down into the camera well, where Robbie normally is. '31st appearance for Guerrier. Oh, 2 pitch. It's up high. Pirates 2-run lead. Big blow. The 3-run home run by Pedro Alvarez in the 5th. And strike 3 called as McHenry goes down. He's 1 for 3. So a punch out for Guerrier as he comes in out of the bullpen to take over for Greinke.
Throws the Ford up a little. Started right at him. Not in really a good spot. That breaking ball. The belt high middle of the plate. Michael would, right now he's putting his gear on, but he's thinking, I wish I could have had a mulligan on that one. Another shot at it.
Another curveball. It's taken for a strike. And with Marte coming in as part of the double switch last inning, it answers the question of how injured he is and whether or not he's going on the DL. He's not. He's here. He's playing. And he's behind in the count, 0-2. Oh, 2 pitch. He struck him out on 3 pitches. 2 down. So Guerrier with 2 strikeouts. Making quick work of the Pirates in the 6th.
And that breaking ball not in a very good spot either. That was center cut right down the middle. This is an 0-2 breaking ball to the location. That's not supposed to happen. I would say maybe showing a little rust or something. That's one he should have hit.
And Presley hits one high and deep to right field, and Alex has left the building. A solo home run for Presley, his 2nd, and the Pirates lead it 6-3.
That's a nice little answer right there to the Dodgers, trying to make a little bit of a move, get back in the ball game. You get up there and you knock one out for some instant offense. Guerrier getting away with a couple of hanging breaking balls. First couple of hitters, but not that one. Presley puts it in the seats.
Nice to see that stroke from him, and that's the 3rd hit today for Presley. He's 3 for 4. Good reason to smile. And Mercer down the left field line. This ball carrying into the corner, and that's a fair ball. And Jordy Mercer in with a double.
Eased in the 2nd. That ball bounced out.
Another Cadillac double.
Right down the line, you know it's not going to get caught. It's just what's going to happen after it hits, and is it going to be in fair territory?
Cameraman, until he's experienced, he never even flinched. Double number 7 for Mercer. Over 3 today. Kutch, 7-game hitting streak. Trying to make it 8 this afternoon. Thought about pulling the trigger and held up. Now he's behind 1-2. Alex Presley, his second solo homer. Two hits this inning. Mercer the double, and Presley the home run. Down to third. Hairston whips it over to first base to retire McCutchen. Kutch is 0 for 4, but the Pirates use the long ball from Alex Presley to make it a 6-3 lead. To bring you discounted PNC check card dates every Friday and weekday matinee game this season. All PNC Bank customers who use their PNC check card get up to $10 off outfield box, lower outfield box, outfield reserve, or grandstand seats. Purchase tickets at the PNC Park ticket windows or visit pirates.com/PNC check card. Today, one of those days, and the fans sporting their new caps today. Good looking caps. The replicas are the ones the Pirates are wearing on the field. 6 runs on 10 hits for the Bucks, 3 runs on 7 hits for Los Angeles. Left fielder Alex Castellanos will lead off against Justin Wilson, starting the 7th inning. Well, Alex Presley, a little charge into that one. Second home run. 3 for 4 today.
I was trying to think earlier today. We've been talking about debuts with Cole and company yesterday. And did Presley hit a home run in his first game? He hit a home run in Toronto. Was that his first game?
I remember I don't think it was his first game. I remember the home run. I remember it just barely cleared the right field wall. But I don't remember if it was his first game. I don't think it was.
Marte obviously was his first game, first pitch he saw.
First pitch. That was in Houston last summer. I don't think we had even settled into our seats at that point in time. We were just sitting down in the TV booth in Houston.
Alex, I guess, he'd been a September call-up the year before. So it was his first game when he got called up at that time, but that wasn't his debut. So that's where I was confused, as always.
His first game the next season, he hit a home run.
September call-up, that shouldn't even really count. You're just it's like just a, they're inviting you in for a cup of coffee.
Tell that to the guys who are called up. Castellanos to center field. McCutchen opens up the back pocket and makes the catch. 1 out. Those guys who get called up get service time, and for many of them, it's the first time they've ever been up in the big leagues. It's really important to them. Jerry Hairston Jr. first plate appearance today. Don Mattingly having to move a lot of guys around defensively. Hanley Ramirez the day off today, so Hairston with infield duty. Punto playing shortstop. Originally, Uribe was going to play third base, but he was scratched due to some stiffness in his back earlier, and they decided not to put him in the lineup at the last moment. Dodgers did say he is available if needed today, however. But they wanted to give him a rest just in case, not to make any matters worse.
A difficult year for that man. A lot of expectations this year. New ownership, all the big names on the roster. Hasn't been easy.
Well, and it's not always the manager's fault either when you have
injuries. I mean, look at the DL list.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's one of the longest in baseball right now.
It's easy to kind of figure out what the main problem is. They just haven't been able to keep a lot of those big names on the roster healthy. Nothing really a manager can do about that.
And a walk. Hairston walks on 4 pitches. Well, fans, on this week's Inside Pirates Baseball, Garrett Cole makes his major league debut. Pirates haul in 2 talented #1 selections in Austin Meadows and Reese McGuire. Jeff Locke makes an impressive run in the big leagues, and there's a whole lot more in store for you. It is a new Inside Pirates Baseball presented by Allegheny Sports Medicine today after the postgame show on Roo Sports. Jeff is scheduled to go next on Wednesday opposite Bronson Arroyo in Cincinnati. In case you missed it earlier, Brandon Compton has earned himself another start. He'll go Thursday afternoon in a day game against the Reds' Homer Bailey in the 4th game of that set. Want to know to Schumacher, 1 out, 1 on. He's low, 2-0. So Wilson struggling to find the strike zone now this inning. After getting Castellanos to fly out, walks Hairston.
Coming through the minor leagues as a starting pitcher, that's one of the things that he battled with was having a command kind of come and go, and those issues as a reliever have pretty much gone away. Been too many times he's gone out there and not been able to throw the ball pretty much where he wanted to. And obviously the velocity has been real good as he's been coming out of the bullpen. But mainly a starter coming through the minor leagues, and at times an excellent starter. Has a no-hitter to his name, minor league no-hitter.
And he was part of another combined no-hitter as well.
He has been just excellent coming out of the bullpen here in his first year with the Pirates. He's back in the strike zone. First pitch.
96-mile-an-hour heater to Schumacher. 257 for Schumacher. He has played in this ballpark several times. He was a member of the Cardinals. Right to Mercer. And a room service double play ball. That ends the inning. Wilson happy with that. Stretch time. Middle of the 7th. Pirates a 3-run lead. Big reaction from Justin Wilson. Happy to get that twin kill to end the top half of the 7th inning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you now to stand and join the Pirates and Major League Baseball as we offer support to our troops here and abroad. Here to lead us with God Bless America are students from the Birchfield Elementary 3rd grade chorus. Joining them on the field today, representing the Wounded Warrior Project, is Sergeant William Cole of the United States Marines. Sergeant Cole served a combat tour in Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom and a tour in the Horn of Africa in 2006. In a few months, Sergeant Cole will be heading to Washington, D.C. to work for the Department of Veterans Affairs on post-deployment health issues for our returning servicemen and women. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to follow the bouncing Eden Park Smiley Cookie and join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
shots from the AGH cam today as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. 6-3. Pirates in front of the Dodgers. Robbie Innsmikowski and Bob Walk. I am Tim Neverett, and glad you're along on this Father's Day. Great seat, hey buddy? He's teaching him about social media or something.
Teach him how to type.
I'll bet he knows what a hashtag is.
When did it become a hashtag instead of a pound sign?
I guess when you didn't use it to make a phone call or to do automated stuff on the phone. I don't know. That's a good question. 1-0 pitch to Jones. Jones has a pair of hits today. Big 2-run double in the first, and then walked in the third, base hit and scored in the fifth. He rode home for free on Pedro Alvarez home run. Strike is called. This has turned into a sun-splashed Sunday afternoon. Rained pretty hard earlier in the day. We had an hour-and-a-half rain delay to start this game. Well, just a beautiful day. 3-1. Career on for his second inning of work. Ground ball to second. Schumacher will throw out Jones. One gone. One out. Bottom of the 7th. Bob and Robbie, I'm Tim. Puig is 3 for 3 for the Dodgers. He got his first major league stolen base. Andre Ether's 2 for 3 with a pair of runs batted in. For the Pirates, Alvarez a 3-run home run, his 15th homer of the season. And Presley a solo home run. So a couple of long balls have helped the Pirates out this afternoon here at PNC Park. Neil Walker takes strike one. Walker's 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the third, walked and scored in the fifth. Career gets ahead of him 0-2. Mark Melanson getting ready to go as Pirates will use the Mark and Cheese recipe today, apparently.
It's a good recipe, isn't it?
It's been working out.
I love when you can end the game with a nice grilled cheese.
Walker down on strikes. Well, he'll have to run it out. 2-3 goes the put out.
So we get to Cincinnati. There's one of those little shops that sell nothing but grilled cheese sandwiches only about a half a block away. Tom cheese or something like
tomato cheese.
Yeah. Oh man, have you ever had a grilled cheese?
I try to limit my grilled cheese these days, but
not me.
Really?
Oh, I love a good grilled cheese.
Well, here is Pedro, 15 home runs. There's 15 home runs in the team's first 69 games. That's pretty significant. The last Pirate to have 15 home runs that fast, Jason Bay in 2006. It took him 20 fewer games, though. He had 15 in his first 49 games. 15th came on the 27th of May that year. As I mentioned earlier in the game, Pedro's halfway to his home run total of a year ago. Last 8 games, 3 home runs and 10 runs batted in. Over that time, hitting .308. Chase this one, and he'll have to run this one out. Fedorovich hops on it, throw down to Gonzalez, and it's a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 7th inning. 4 strikeouts for Guerrero. Pirates up 3 runs, heading to the 8th.
up until I was 14 years old. So I have a ton of great memories, but you know, going to the Little League World Series and you know, a lot of memories just traveling, and you know, we made long road trips and just got to hang out a lot, and I will always cherish those memories.
Mark Melanson, some great memories for his dad. And he's hoping to make another memory here, just another notch in the belt perhaps, as Melanson has been absolutely terrific in this 8th inning setup role. Gabby Sanchez comes in to play first base, as he has been in these situations when he replaces Jones in the 8th inning.
Melanson's excellent numbers. Great strikeout to walk ratio. Melanson hardly ever gets to pitch with Garrett at first.
No, because Gabby's either going to be in there because there's a left-hander on the mound, or he goes in for defense in the 8th. Let's go. Did he forget the Bucks? Oh no, there's the B.
Yeah, it's there.
She's got the Pirates skirt, Pirates outfit.
Could be first Pirate game. Debut. Speaking of debuts, talking about that earlier. It's got to be one. Pirate debut.
Yeah, I'm sure Dad will tell her all about it someday.
It'd be really cool if whoever is sitting at home watching the game knows them. Tell them that they were on. That would be a nice one to save and give to her years from now.
There's Nick Punto. Switch hitter batting left against the righty Melanson, and Mark pumps in a strike. 0-1. Punto with a hit today, 1 for 3. And now he is behind in the count, 0-2. Melanson would like nothing better than to make quick work of the Dodgers' 2, 3, and 4 hitters here in the 8th inning. A little bit late on that one, but it's a foul ball. 0-2. Is that a new one, Bob, right there?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Must be new in the
Pirate Pup.
New in the store. Probably big seller on pup nights here. Toward right field is Presley on the run, makes the catch. Good jump by Alex Presley, and he retires Punto in the 8th. MLB.TV celebrates 11 years with new low yearly prices. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere.
I was talking about going back and looking at a game to save it in case you know there's a shot of you on it. If you have MLB TV, you can go back into the archives and look at a game. When somebody says, hey, you were on last night, you can go back and see yourself.
That's another good usage of it. And
That's
it's
right.
got, if you look at it on your laptop, it's got kind of a scrolling feature, fast forward.
We use it all the time. I use it all the time for game prep to look at, the team that's coming up. Go check out some past games where we've played them. Great tool.
Bob spends lots of hours just poring over the video, preparing for games.
Can't just rely on you and Greg to do it all.
There's the 1-1 pitch, and Gonzalez bounces it to the right side. Pirates are in a shift. Walker's got it, 2 down. Adrian Gonzalez, 1 for 4. 2 quick outs, and now Puig will be the hitter. He is 3 for 3. Pirates haven't been able to get him out today. Melanson ready for his first pitch to Yasiel Puig. Ball 1.
Pretty good pitch right there. That looked like an excellent cutter. Great location for strike 1, but he didn't get the call. See where it was. Puig already getting a little respect.
Ball and a strike to him. He had 4 home runs in his first 5 major league games. He was the first Dodger ever to do anything like that. Two and 1. He was promoted. He was leading the Southern League in batting with a .313 average. Dodgers giving him a good look. Pops this one foul and out of play. Just 22 years old. He's only hitting .489. The Dodger fan got a Puig foul ball, so they're extra excited.
Well, look at the scoreboard, guys.
That's all you have to do, is just point up there.
Yeah. Keep laughing.
They're allowed to have a good time.
I'm not saying they're not. It's just me being a homer. So. Oh, there we go.
See, there you go.
Pirate fans got a ball there. That's what we want to see. Reading it.
2 outs, bases empty. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was one of the favorite things to do when you get a real Major League Baseball. You like to read all the stuff on it. Where it actually said that. You got the, well, back in the day, you'd have the league president on there. Now you have the commissioner.
Now it's one ball, Major League ball. It used to be American League ball, National League ball.
There used to be different colors of ink also.
Yeah.
You'd have the really dark navy blue on the National League ball.
It's a foul ball. Well, McHenry tried to dance it back in fair, but just couldn't do it.
Remember, this it's fair or foul depending on where the ball is when he catches it, not his feet. And that's one of the important things to keep in mind when you're looking, because he tried to make it look like he came down in fair territory. He jumped over, but it wouldn't make any difference anyway. It's where the glove was when that ball went in it.
Well, Puig's a tough out, isn't he?
So far, we're going to look almost right down the line, get a good look at it. And the ball definitely foul territory. He tried to bring it back, almost like he was trying to bring a ball into the strike zone.
Yeah.
Trying to
frame it.
Yep, he tried to frame that ball.
We'll get another. Henry couldn't hang on to the foul tip. Russell Martin expects to be back in the lineup tomorrow. He was in the lineup today, but had some soreness in the lower body, and Glenn Hurdle decided to give him a rest. Struck him out. Now McHenry will throw down. So the Pirates find a way to retire Puig. Mark Melanson, 3 up, 3 down in the top half of the 8th inning. stays that when this is over. The bottom of the 8th inning. 6-3. Pirates with the lead. Big crowd here today. 3 straight sellouts. 37,263 today. The weekend total 111,082. And this sellout crowd again endured an hour-and-a-half rain delay. Many of them sitting through the raindrops, which was somewhat heavy at times rather. Rotunda's been very busy this weekend. That's when you know you got a big crowd, when you see the fans lined up on the rotunda in left field. Gabby Sanchez will get his first at bat of the ball game. Jason Belisario. Pitch is pounded foul and out of play. Well, Belisario, another one of the Dodgers, appealing a suspension for his role in the bench clearing brawl in Arizona. Nothing in 1 to Sanchez. The magnificent M's. Did you see that one in the sign store last time you were in? That's a new one.
No, that is a new one. They're always coming up with something new. I haven't been by the sign store for a while, though. I've been.
Okay. Thought you might have.
No, last time I was Strip District, probably about a month ago.
Did you pick up the new Ban the DH sign there?
That's why I was there.
That's where you were there? Had it custom made? One-two pitch to Sanchez. And Gabby grounds one right back off of Belisario. Well, that ball was ticketed for center field, and Belisario just get in the way. 1 out. Well, like it or not, Bob, you're going to see the DH pretty soon.
The belly ball.
Belisario, former Pirate prospect.
It's a flashy glove, isn't it? Oh, red lacing. They go with his number. Dodger blue. Very stylish. Very stylish. Color glove would you have, Tim?
Just a regular color.
Brown?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear you say that.
No balls and 2 strikes to Michael McHenry. That's outside. Might go with a maybe black, maybe.
Now, why do you say that? Now, I said now you.
But see, that's after it had all the oil on it, the glove oil, darkens it up. McHenry strikes out. Maybe I'll have a designated glove. Nissan Road ahead after today's game. The Pirates hit the road. Long road trip. 4 in Cincinnati. Then it's off to the West Coast. 3 in Anaheim, where they'll have the DH, Bob. Pirates will have to have DH in the lineup also in Seattle. And the Pirates return home to play National League Baseball against the Brewers and the Phillies. A 1:35 start Thursday, July 4th. Then they'll go to Chicago for the holiday weekend.
Important series in Cincinnati.
Marte struck out on 3 pitches, first time up in the game.
Looking forward to those days. Cincy. Pirates look like they're playing pretty well right now. Hopefully we can take another series this afternoon. One
1-0 pitch. It's impounded foul. Actually, the last glove I had was a black one. Rawlings glove.
The kids out there getting ready to run the bases. That's where they end up lining up after the game. Be out there with the dads. I wonder if dads can run also today since this is Father's Day. That might be a nice little touch.
It's such a neat deal for the kids to get out there, and it's got to the little ones seem like such a long way around the bases.
There they are. Look at that. They'll line up there and go all the way down by where the Mazeroski statue is, that corner of the stadium, and then they'll come down the tunnel and onto the field.
Marte down the right field line. It's going to slice.
Good looking ball there, Pirate ball.
All right, Parrot ball.
You can catch that in a black glove, that's all right.
It's leather.
Yeah, it's a fancy ball. You could use a fancy glove.
Sure.
Can't believe you used a black glove.
That was the last one I used. All the other ones are just regular glove color. It's brown. 1-2. And it's 2-2 now to Marte. In fact,
no, that's a ball glove right there.
Well, it was the same one except black leather. So the same webbing. Like that color. Well, that's got a lot of stuff on there.
Looks like mud.
Short. Punto backhanding and throwing out Marte. And we are through 8 full. Grilled cheese time. Jason Grilli looking for save number 25.
Just kind of taking off his tie, he throw BP to us and stuff in his suit. It was great, man. So it's just the epiphany of my dad. For me, has always been there. Whether it's been baseball, just in life, my dad's always been there. He's been my dad. He's been my best friend. It's been special relationship with me and my pops.
And Jason Grilli on to try to close this one out and save it for Garrett Cole. 6-3 Pirates, top of the 9th inning. Shark tanks activated. I asked Jason the other day if he's named the sharks yet in the clubhouse. The real live sharks they have in there. He said they haven't done it yet. They're still working on it.
Is there a fish missing?
Why, did somebody get hungry?
I thought
Sushi?
I saw one missing. There's Jason's outstanding numbers. 0.91 ERA, 49 Ks, 29 innings.
Really facing Andre Ethier to start the 9th inning. Ethier fouls it off. Pirates looking for win number 41. If they can win this one today, they will pick up a game on St. Louis, who lost earlier to Miami 7-2. The Bucs would be 3 games out heading to Cincinnati.
Clint kind of relaxed a little bit, sitting back and not on that railing like he usually is. Still nervous enough to be working over that bubble gum.
Down the left field side, that's going to slice out of play for a strike. I talked to Clint about his dad today, who's also named Clint, but they call him Bud. Said he has coached him up better than anybody else, but had nothing to do with baseball. Just in life. Clint had some personal challenges in his life, and his dad took him for a walk around the block and said, all right, you're going to listen. Clint listened for 20 minutes and said it was a real memorable time, and it helped him out a lot. Nothing in 2 to Ethier. That's good. Dad got the ball, gave it to his son. And a high five that away. Oh, 2 to Ethier. Ball, 2 strikes. The Dodgers have won 6 straight series against the Pirates, and the Pirates trying to break that string right now. Dodgers have won 13 of the last 15 games against the Pirates, including 9 in a row at Dodger Stadium. Andrew McCutchen will open up the back pocket, put this one away. 1 out in the 9th. 2 more outs to go for Garrett Cole, and he will have his 2nd major league win in just his 2nd start. Now, since 1963, these guys are the only other guys to go 2-0 in their first 2 starts for the Pirates. Josh Fogg, Tim Wakefield, Jose De Leon, and Jim Nelson in 1970. Cole trying to make it 5 guys who've done it.
I think he's got a pretty good chance. Wakefield coming up, and saw the year there. It was 92. Last time Pirates were in the playoffs. Came up there toward the end of the year and played a big part in that.
Mark Ellis, normally the 2nd baseman, regular with a day off today, now pinch hitting in the 9th. Breaking ball up high. 1-1 to the veteran Ellis. And there's a strike that's in there. Now, the Pirates have faced 4 Cy Young winners this week. 2 of the Giants, Lincecum and Zito. 2 of the Dodgers, Kershaw and Greinke. And if all holds up here, the Pirates will have beaten 3 of the 4. The lone winner would be Kershaw, although he had a no decision yesterday.
The Pirates have been seeing some excellent starting pitching for a couple weeks now. I think the stretch started out when we were in Detroit. Kershaw talking about changeup. Talking about the grip. Looked like maybe a little bit about pressure points, where he wants the ball to come out of his hand. We've been in a pretty good string, and you know, thinking back to the Detroit series, Pirates have held their own against a lot of good pitching. Maybe not offensively, but they've taken them on and beat them with good starting pitching.
Jeff Locke's been a great surprise. 6-1 for Locke. And Ellis strikes out. He doesn't run down to first, so McHenry will tag him. Ellis gives himself up. And that is out number 2, and the Bucks an out away.
There was no checking or anything like that. The call made instantly. Earlier I said what I like about the AGH cameras, you can see the relationship of the bat and the ball, and there you could see that they were very close to almost making contact.
Don Mattingly will send up another pinch hitter. This is A.J. Ellis, normally the starting catcher. Firing up the grilly here this afternoon.
In the game with a nice grilled cheese.
So Mark got 3 in a row in the 8th. Cheese trying to get 3 in a row in the 9th. Pedro Alvarez, a 3-run home run in the 5th inning. Put the Bucks in front. Woke up a 2-2 tie. 2 balls, no strikes. He's been real close on the first 2 pitches. But the count 2-0. Goes to 3-0 on Ellis. Really 24 for 24, looking for 25. The Pirate record is 26 consecutive saves to start a season. 2011, Joel Hanrahan set that mark. And a strike called on A.J. Ellis, 3-1. There's a 3-1 pitch. And he walked him. One on and 2 out. Hanley Ramirez is going to come up to pinch hit. Rob King, Kent Tekulve standing by for highlights and reaction of the game breakdown. Pirates post game. It's all coming up at the conclusion of the Pirates and the Dodgers final meeting of the season. A.J. Ellis takes off, but that's going to be an indifference situation. No stolen base. He can run all over the place, and the Pirates are not concerned about it. His run means nothing. Hanley Ramirez, a .267 average. Started at shortstop in each of the first 2 games. Coming off the bench to pinch hit with 2 outs in the 9th today. Grilly's pitch. Almost induced a swing, tried to get him with a breaking ball.
You know, when you know that the catcher's not throwing, it's going to be indifference. You're a closer, you should just turn and throw the ball away at first. Like a pickoff throw?
Yeah.
Send him down a second that way. Because that way, if you get base hits, an iron run.
Yeah, I think, didn't we talk about this?
I don't know why they don't do that. That makes sense to you?
Strike 2, and the Dodgers down to their final strike.
Is the only guy that doesn't care out there? Or the only guy that does care is the pitcher. Really doesn't want to pitch for somebody at second base, but what are you going to do? You have to play defense. Got to move that first baseman off the bag. Get that big lead.
2 outs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. game's over. Save number 25 in 25 straight opportunities for Jason Grilli. Saves it for Garrett Cole, who wins it. Cole goes to 2-0. Outfield will do their routine as the Pirates take the series. They win 4 of 6 on the homestand. Pedro Alvarez, a 3-run home run in the 5th inning. His 15th of the year. He's now with 41 RBIs. And the Pirates go to 41 and 28. Back to 13 above 500.
And they just keep sailing along. It doesn't seem to matter, what's going on with that starting rotation. They're plugging in the young guys now, and they're still clicking them off. They have the Giants come in here, take 2 out of 3. Dodgers take 2 out of 3. And now on to Cincinnati. Big series there.
Some momentum heading into the Queen City after this one here today. So the Pirates win it 6-3. Let's go to our postgame guys. Rob King and Kent Tekulve.
Tim and Bob, thanks.